The news tonight. Day 6 of nationwide protest, business activities pick up in Abuja, Osun. INEC releases voters list for Edo Ondo State. Good evening, you're welcome to NTA Ijebu ode news at 7. I'm Titi Layoke. Thanks for staying to with us. Now, with the news and details. Normal activities are gradually returning around Abuja city with security relaxed at strategic places like Eagle Square and its environment. Our correspondent Joseph Otsin has an update from the Abuja Central area and Moshood Abiola National Stadium venue of the protest. The reports.
Here at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium is calm with just a few protesters here, numbered at just about 5. They are staying inside the stadium and not outside. People are not allowed to gather outside except inside at the main board of the National Stadium. But because there are so few, they are hanging around just along the trees. Behind me, there are journalists who are also there to cover the event. But as the days of the national protest wind down, it seems we are having more journalists here than the protesters themselves. Meanwhile, in other parts of the town, like the Secretariat, the Eagle Square, the Unity Fountain, we saw no protesters there. Also, a drive around the town shows that there are more vehicular movement and a lot of businesses opening up. It seems things are returning to normal and there's calmness everywhere. In Abuja, Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
Organizers of the End Bad Governance protest in Osun State have suspended demonstrations till further notice due to the popular Osun Osogbo festival. The leaders of the protest stated this in Osogbo shortly after submitting their demands to Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke Osogbo. Femi Afariogun has the details.
The protesters converged on their usual spot at Nelson Mandela Freedom Park, Osogbo, before proceeding to the state secretariat to submit their demands to the state government. The deputy governor of Osun State, Prince Kola Adewusi, who received their letter, saluted the youths for conducting themselves peacefully throughout the protest. He assured that their letter will get to the president.
To all, that the governor will write an accompanying letter to be presented at the next meeting, that these are the requests of the youth in Osun State, and this will be presented to the federal government. And I told you, in terms of your demands from Osun State government, every request that you listed is being taken care of.
Meanwhile, at a press conference after the protest, the youths agreed to suspend the protest for the coming Osun Osogbo festival.
Considering the safety of the influx of tourists coming for the global Osun Osogbo festival and the possibility of hoodlums disguising as tourists and unleashing attacks on peaceful protesters, we consider it imperative to put the protest on hold today, 6th August 2024.
The leaders of the protest urged the president to take adequate actions on their demands. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
A member of the House of Representatives, Akinlayo Kolawole, has appealed to protesters to call off the protest and accept the olive branch being offered by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for constructive dialogue. Briefing National Assembly correspondent in Abuja, the lawmaker representing Ido, Osi, Moba, Ileje, Meje Federal Constituency of Ekiti State emphasized that dialogue is the rational option towards addressing the reasonable demands of the protesters.
We visit them and advise and also beg them to please dialogue, that they should come to table for dialogue. So whatever demand they have, they can table it before the government. The one the government can do immediately, they will offer it. The one they can do in a long time process, they will also let them know. But as it is, this government is very new, and considering the level of decade inherited by the government. Like they said government is continuous, we all know. But if you inherit a bad structure, it will take a while for you to repair it and make it stand solid.
He calls for patience with the federal government in its quest to reduce poverty and improve socio-economic conditions of the masses.
The usual hustle and bustle for daily bread is returning to this part of the metropolis, known as Area 10 UTC, one of the busiest business hubs in Abuja.
Actually, I'm a graphic designer, so I have to come back to work because I have some unfinished job on ground. So that was why I came out. I don't know for any other person.
A drive along some banks showed that most commercial banks are rendering skeletal services and are optimistic things will normalize as the day progresses. In Abuja, Bosode Ijebu ode, NTA News.
After days of agitation by protesters in Abuja, normalcy is gradually returning to the nation's capital. Let's join our business correspondent, Bosede Ijebu ode, for an update.
Development partners. The Federal Ministry of Education has come up with this document that provides guidance and tools towards designing and implementing programs and
The usual hustle and bustle for daily bread is returning to this part of the metropolis, known as Area 10 UTC, one of the busiest business hubs in Abuja.
Actually, I'm a graphic designer, so I have to come back to work because I have some unfinished job on ground. So that was why I came out. I don't know for any other person.
A drive along some banks showed that most commercial banks are rendering skeletal services and are optimistic things will normalize as the day progresses. In Abuja, Bosode Ijebu ode, NTA News.
The federal government has unveiled the draft national policy on skills development to solidify its agenda on transforming the nation's education sector. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Maman, at the pre-validation meeting of stakeholders, says the path is now clear for the elevation of educational standards. Zenrit Digman reports.
After a series of deliberations and consultations with development partners, the Federal Ministry of Education has come up with this document that provides guidance and tools towards designing and implementing programs and interventions that promote skills development in Nigerian schools. This convergence, however, is to review and validate the policy with stakeholders' insights and innovative ideas to ensure it meets the needs of Nigeria's diverse communities.
The only solution conceivable for now is for us to couple the education at that level with skills. Soft and hard skills are already working on a curriculum, fresh curriculum, that will be implemented in all pre-tertiary education schools in Nigeria.
This policy aims to bridge the gap between the labor market, ensuring that our young people are not only academically equipped, but also possess the practical skills and competencies that employers seek.
No investment made in skills development and human capacity development is wasted.
Engaging the communities will be vital for effective implementation of this policy.
Indeed, it is very important to have a comprehensive and all-encompassing national policy that addresses all learners, including adults, and their specific skilling needs.
The national policy on skills development in Nigeria is anchored on 4 categories: foundational, transferable, digital skills, and job-specific skills. In Abuja,
You are still watching NTA Ijebu ode News at 7. We'll be back shortly after the break. Stay tuned.
Ààrẹ gómìnà Ọbaládé àgbà ọ̀dọ́ àtọmọdé jákèjádò àti gbèdé NTA Ijebu ode. Ààrẹ gómìnà Ọbaládé àgbà ọ̀dọ́ àtọmọdé jákèjádò àti gbèdé NTA Ijebu ode. Your heritage station, we are the light of nation. Ijebu ode. Your heritage nation, we are the light of nation and the light of generation. NTA Ijebu ode. NTA Ijebu ode, your heritage station.
Ahead of the Edo and Ondo governorship elections coming in September and November this year, INEC has released the final list of voters as the continuous voters registration exercise ends in 2 states. In Edo State, a total of 2,629 registered voters will participate in September governorship election, while 2.53 thousand to make part in the November polls in Ondo State. Statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information Samuel Olumekun says, in the next few days, the Commission will release the timetable for the collection of permanent voters card, PVC, for the 2 states for all categories of voters, including new registrants from the last CVR voters that applied for transfers, replacement, and uncollected cards from previous registrations. Hope rises for Olympic medals as Nigerian athletes inch close to podium finish. For more on this and other stories, over to Olumide Eguntola on Sports Updates.
Nigeria's Ruth Uzoro and Christina Ochonogo at the women's long at the ongoing Paris Olympic Games. Brume hit the automatic qualification mark of 6.75 meters, limping 6.76 meters, while Ruth and Christina qualified as part of the top 12 performers with best jumps of 6.68 meters and 6.65 meters respectively. The final is scheduled for 7 p.m. Nigerian time on Thursday, 8th of August. Still on the Olympics, United States of America team is on top of the medals table at the ongoing Paris Olympic Games Tuesday with 21 gold, 30 silver and 28 bronze medals.
Meanwhile, Nigeria's favour Philly and Blessing Oborududu will be the cynosure of all eyes Tuesday as Team Nigeria attempts to get on the medals table. Philly will attempt to become the first ever Nigerian and African sprinter to win the 200 meters Olympic gold medal after Mary Oyali's bronze medal feat 28 years ago in Atlanta 1996 Olympics. Philly takes on World Super Paras Tuesday at the final of the 200 meters event. Nigeria's Toby Amusan will begin a campaign on Friday when the women's 100 meters hurdles will start. In other news, Kende Lamidi reports that the Ondo State government is upgrading some facilities at the Akure Stadium. The State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Saka Ogunleye, who disclosed this, promised that the state government will further motivate the athletes to perform brilliantly at the forthcoming National Youth Games and the National Sports Festival.
Mr. Governor graciously approved the upgrading of this sport council. But we are talking about upgrading. We are trying to upgrade our facilities that's obsolete. We have listened to our coaches here and there. We also identify with them.
With sports updates, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that does it on the news for tonight. But before we go, let's take a look at some of the major stories. We told you earlier that the 6th of nationwide protests, business activities pick up in Abuja, Osun. And we said INEC releases voters list for Edo, Ondo State. That's all we have for you for tonight. We'll meet next time. I am Titi Layoke. Good night.